is something, this is a topic which is very dear to my heart. I guess what we've done is that everybody, we given topics to the people who are very close to the topic they're speaking upon. So, actually getting an unhappy patient to say, wow, I think that is an art, skill, and science. Happy patients will be happy, but getting a patient who's unhappy to be happy and say, XYZ doctor, I think it was a pleasure coming to your clinic. It was a pleasure meeting you. That skill also needs to be taught to our youngsters. We have fellowships in surgery, we have fellowships in clinical, we have fellowships, but nobody's teaching us and our colleagues these things. So I thought it was a good idea to collate all these things together. And because we use these training pro modules for all soft skill enhancement, it is not just the doctor. These tools and training programs, our soft skill programs, are done even for our employees, our managers, our optoms, and our doctors. And I think it goes a long way in training them in handling unhappy patients. So the topic is very interesting. What they didn't teach us in medical college. They trained us in skills, they taught us science, they taught us surgery, but they never taught us the soft skills of communication, and especially communicating with the patient who's angry. So if you have a patient who's happy, surgeon is happy, fantastic. Surgeon unhappy, but the patient is happy, no problem. The problem starts when the surgeon is happy, but the patient is unhappy. Or the surgeon is unhappy and the patient is also unhappy. So these things are very, very important, that especially the red zones, we need to take care of. Now let us see. When Charles Darwin said that the survival of the fittest, now what did he mean by fittest? Did he mean the strongest? Did he mean the most intelligent? Did he mean the fastest? No. What he meant was the one who's most adaptable to change. So this is what practice now today is. Patients' outlook have changed. Patients' expectations have changed. So we have to adapt. There is only one way to survive in the market today, is giving patient his visual aspirational fulfillments. Why I say aspirational fulfillment? The patient should take pride in saying that I got operated at XY clinic. It should be aspirational. People should want to visit your facility. That is aspirational. And of course, visual fulfillments, whatever he demands. Giving delight to the patients. We no longer at SharpSight are talking about happy patients. We want delighted patients. A delighted patient is 10 times more powerful than a happy patient, and a very, very efficient complaint redressal system, which we will discuss. So as we see that the practice, the only change is that you need to change, then that's constant. A lot of people might feel a pressure, that, I'm a doctor, I'm not a marketing person. How do I do that? If you cannot do that, hire people who can do that for you, because you have to change with the system. You need to look at patients' aspirations and expectations from your clinic. Having a clean clinic, having a very courteous staff, having a good valet, having clean bathrooms, having clean rooms, good air conditioning systems, a very clear signboard, what was mentioned by Dr. Sheetal earlier. They go long, long way in keeping patients happy. But what are the most common reasons when the patient can be unhappy is, most of the times, most patients think that they did not get their money's worth. The classical example is, you will bargain with a sabji wala because you feel you can bargain there, but you will not bargain for a plate of food in a hotel. You know that you cannot bargain with the charges are fixed. So the hospital or the clinic should have a reputation that it should not be bargainable. At the same time, the patient should think that he's got his values worth. Whatever he's paid for, he's getting worth of that. He sees the ambience, he sees the surrounding, he sees courteous people, he sees good doctors, he gets good surgical outcomes. He feels it's his money's worth. You will have lesser of unhappy patients if you feel on these brackets. There are so many times there's a miscommunication. You may have told the patient that, cataract surgery and you will see clearly, but you've forgotten to mention that you may need near glasses. So this could be an unhappy patient. So communication skills need to be taught. Most of us are born, grow up thinking that communication is so common sense. Whatever I say, I know how to speak. No, communications is a science. Listening to people is a science. A lot of time patients are saying something, but they mean something. Look at their body language. Look at what they're trying to say. Preoperative counseling, don't overpromise. Never overpromise. Whenever you promise, you over deliver. So don't promise much, under promise and over deliver. Waiting times, as mentioned by Dr. Sheetal, a lot of times most of the patients are unhappy if they've been given a time and they're not seen at that time. Appointment issues, if they have trouble getting to you, you will lose these patients. Non-responsive to patients, share with the patient. Start declaring that, okay, you have a disease which will take long, approximately this long, but we cannot tell you. If you have a complication in surgery, please be frank with the patient. Tell them that this is a complication. We will set it right. We are at it. Our team will take care. So once you do these things and the communication is powerful, the chances of patients getting unhappy is further reduced. Now, let us understand one thing. All of us at the end want to be happy. It is the trick of your HR team, yourself, and your optoms to how to get that happy person out of an unhappy person. So that trick is by breaking the monotony, approaching the patient with a smile. This is one of the best things is worst. Even if the patient is unhappy, you know the patient is unhappy. Walk up to the patient, smile, offer your hand, ask him to sit, and then say, sir, how can I help you? Most of the times when you are open to the patient, your approach is open, not authoritative, friendly. The patient loses his guard and starts sharing. And when he starts sharing, you ask him that, okay, let me hear what problem you have and how can I help you? These things, these communications will start making the patient think that, yes, you're there to help him rather than prove that he's wrong and the doctor is right. So always start by asking a question, sir, how can I help you? How can I make sure that whatever is bothering you can be taken care of? What can I do to allay your unhappiness? When you do this, say these questions to the patient, patient starts feeling, okay, now here is a person who's here to help me. So this is one thing which is always working for all patients. Always be professional, be well-dressed, be impressive, have a smiling face, be friendly, have empathy. If the patient is saying something, don't wrong him. Listen to him. Listening does not mean that you always agree with the patient. Listening means you are giving him your time. Listening means that you're telling the patient, yes, I'm listening to you. And after listening, then you reassure the patient whatever his issues are. A lot of times, all you need to do is effective listening, quick thinking, logical answer, and being in emotional control. A lot of times patients will tell you things which probably make you upset. Please refrain from doing that. Always listen to what the patient is saying, not what he's trying to say. Don't be aggressive. Even if the patient wants to provoke you, don't get provoked. Do give examples of happy patients who are sitting in your OPD. A lot of times, patient is saying something, you're listening to something. A classical example is, I operated a lady with -4 diopters of astigmatism. Somehow some calculations got mixed up. The patient landed up with, again, 4 diopters of cylinder. And when she came with her son the next time and she sat on the chair, says, Dr. Kapoor, I'm very unhappy. And I said, wow, this is going to explode now because she's wearing glasses now. But guess what? I said, ma'am, how can I help you? Why are you unhappy? She says, there's a lot of itching in my eye. Now, this was listening to the patient. I could have probably started covering my tracks on toric lens getting malfunctioned or malrotated, but I heard the patient. Her issue was totally different to what I perceived. So a lot of times listening to the patient will tell you what the patient is bothered about. And you are just bothering about unnecessary issues which you think may be important, but they are not important for patients. So listen to patients. When a patient is giving a complaint, don't listen to answer back. Listen to the complaint. There are a lot of times patient will give you gold nuggets. The patient will give you a lot of insights of what is going wrong. If you feel there is something wrong, feel free, be aptly very prompt to apologize. Listen to the grievance. A lot of times intelligent patients can make out when the doctor is actually listening and apologizing. They will not wrong you. They will say, okay, sir, now how can you help me? So having an attitude of empathy and proactive helping will make sure that your unhappy patient starts moving towards happiness. Now, another very important thing is having happy staff in the organization, smiling people, people wishing good morning, good evening, good afternoon. How can I help you? Sir, why don't you have a seat? Dr. Kapoor is waiting. He's waiting for you. I'll just take you to him. So if you have a happy environment, patient's unhappiness starts going down. Most of the times patient will say, Dr. Kapoor or XYZ doctor, coming to a clinic is so relaxing. You know, everybody's so happy. I was angry, but now I'm happy. Now this is a problem. Please sort it out. A lot of patients will have some internal issues. They are suffering from things at home. They have family problems, so they are agitated. Just listen to them. A lot of time, just listening to their problems, eye problems, and then they start sharing their home problems. Listening to them for extra 2-3 minutes will not going to matter. Just being standing shoulder to them, reassuring them that, okay, there is no problem in the eye. It will be taken care of. The surgery is absolutely fine. Meanwhile, asking to help them out at some level if you can, letting them, giving them an address of a psychiatrist if they're asking for one. If they have issues with their joint problems, referring them to a rheumatologist. These small gestures, if you go out of your way, these patients will actually start falling in sync with your organization. Suggest solutions. A lot of time, just ask the patient. You'll be surprised. If the patient is unhappy, you just ask him, sir, what can I do to solve your problem? What should I do so that this issue is addressed? The patient at a lot of times will say, okay, next time I come, I don't want to wait. Give me priority. Sure, you can do that. Next time I come, please give me one free consultation. You can do that. So sometimes the patient will give you a small suggestion or how their grievance can be redressed. Just open the communication with them. Sometimes just listening to the patient and empathy is good enough. Make complaint redressal very, very powerful tool in your organization. Action protocol, all your managers, all your quality control managers or your patients, people who are dealing with patients should have the power to listen to the patient, note down the complaint, address it, take action on it, and please inform the patient that this issue which you complained has been sorted out. Completion of complaint redressal is as important as complaint redressal. A lot of times you will sort the problem out, but not tell the patient that the problem has been sorted by the time he comes next, will not solve it. You can call the patient that last time you told that there's a lot of waiting, madam, we have taken care of that. Next time when you come, you will notice the same. Next time, last time you told us, ma'am, there was no parking. Now we have a valet parking available. Next time you come, you will enjoy it. So when you do that, the patient feels here is an organization which listens to what I said. This is a proactive organization and will take care. Please have a rigid, effective protocol. All complaints should be notified. All complaints should be notified, documented, and the action taken to be taken care of. Now, whenever a patient is angry, don't feel upset. Look for insights. Look beyond the patient's upset. Listen to the patient. A lot of time, listening to the patient is going to give you insights for how to improve your organization. And most of all, have a team which is aligned to take care of unhappy patients. Design a team of 2-3 people in your organization who are good at communication skills. Put them in front to take care of the patient's unhappiness or anxiety. Document. Now, in case there is a medical legal problem, you're anticipating this patient will go to the medical legal problem, which Dr. Anjani will be taking care of. Document the patient's complaints, documents the complications from day one. Most important documents in your organization are the discharge card and the first visit and the follow-up visits. So make sure the complications, if any, the medications are documented, his complaint is documented, and what have you done to take care of that complaint is documented, because some patient will go to the next level. Using tools like animations to explain this patient. And now the most important is leave the room open for a second opinion. Feel free to tell the patient that, okay, this is what I feel should be done, but you're free to take a second opinion. And once the patient feels that you open the path for second opinion for him, the patient will feel okay that the doctor is confident. Showing compassion, but please do not use your self-dignity. Reassure. At a lot of times, revisiting your initial diagnosis, getting an insight, you may be wrong, correcting the course of path. And the last slide, whenever an unhappy patient is leaving unhappy, do not close the issue by saying, okay, get lost. Jo karna kar lo, do whatever you want. No. Always say, sir, I know I've not been able to take care of you. I know you're not happy with me, but I'm still here to take care of you. I will be here next time you need me. In the end, sir, it might be that I will be the final one who will take care of your problem. Meanwhile, if you have any problem, sir, feel free to contact me. Once you close on this document, you've not burnt all your bridges. Most likely this patient will come back to you and not go to medical legal. So happy patient will give you more patients, and these will make you more happy.